how one lone flea bite triggered the outcomes she believed would never arrive. The movie starts by depicting a tiny household made up of a dad called Felix, his spouse Christine, and their child Roberta. They form a tiny household existing contentedly. In their routine existence, Felix operates as an entrepreneur, whereas Christine functions as a kids' apparel creator. Christine frequently journeys to different nations to hunt for ideas for the garments she creates. Occasionally, she also goes to the manufacturing plants, personally simply to oversee the output of the employees who stitch kids' apparel for the firm she serves. Currently, Christine has come back to her native land to participate in a style exhibition, displaying her most recent kids' apparel creations. Prior to heading to her job, Christine escorts Roberta to class. Following that, she proceeds to her job site, a kids' apparel firm named Tyki. When she gets there, Christine inspects the kids' garments that will be presented in the style exhibition. After all is prepared, the occasion commences. As the exhibition is ongoing, Christine gets a telephone contact from somebody. She moves to the rear area briefly to respond to it. Yet, in that place, she rather meets a canine whose form is infested with fleas. The canine nears Christine and vibrates its form, leading the fleas to disperse all over. Numerous of them settle on Christine, and one of the fleas attaches to the rear of her neck. 8 months elapse following the odd event Christine went through. From that point, she commences enduring diverse ailments and cannot function ordinarily anymore. Each evening, she faces respiratory problems, compelling her to employ an oxygen device so she can respire ordinarily. Occasionally, she additionally undergoes muscular contractions in her limbs. Beyond that, Christine regularly overlooks minor details, and every bit of it interferes with her routine existence. She has to persist consuming numerous drugs in anticipation that her wellness will enhance, but following 8 months of healthcare care, her state remains unchanged for the better. Christine's worsening wellness significantly impacts her role as a creator. She encounters difficulty concentrating on producing fresh kids' apparel creations. Despite her poor state, Christine compels herself to continue laboring, and following several months, she ultimately completes her latest garment creation. She subsequently travels to the firm Vesmodo, which possesses the Tyki label. In that location, she promptly encounters her superior, Liz, to display her the creation she has produced. Following examination, Liz states the creation is fine, but yet requires some modifications. Liz requests Christine to amend the creations swiftly, since the firm must launch the latest version of Tyki Kids apparel shortly. Christine senses, somewhat pleased, since her creation was not dismissed. It merely requires amendments. This indicates she has to labor even more diligently to improve the creation. A great deal to handle, a great deal of stress. Upon reaching residence, Christine gets a call from a lady named Diana. Hello, Diana is a lady from the Philippines. She clarifies that she has arrived to serve as a domestic helper. Several days prior, Christine had reached out to her and requested her to serve at her residence. Christine is perplexed since she does not recall ever seeking a domestic helper. Nevertheless, she presumes she could have forgotten once more. Because Christine will be extremely occupied in the upcoming days, she promptly welcomes Diana as her helper. With Diana in the residence, Christine no longer needs to fret about domestic tasks. Christine subsequently escorts Diana to the visitor chamber situated adjacent to her work area. Because the chamber remains unclean, Christine assists Diana tidy it. Following completion of tidying, Christine promptly departs Diana's chamber. Afterward, Diana unlocks her luggage, which is packed with numerous odd items. Shortly afterward, Felix reaches residence after collecting Roberta from class. Christine rapidly presents Diana to Felix and Roberta. Since Diana's appearance is very abrupt, Felix and Roberta are not comfortable yet with her existence in their residence. This is somewhat unexpected for me. Just showed up. It's fine. As Diana is tidying her chamber, she listens in on a discussion between Felix and Christine. Felix confesses that he is annoyed with Christine for not informing him that she was seeking a domestic helper. He states she ought to have sought his approval initially, and he senses uncomfortable about having Diana in the residence. Christine subsequently clarifies that she will be extremely occupied in the upcoming days, since she must complete amending her apparel creations swiftly. She's concerned that if she becomes overly occupied, she won't possess time to manage the residence, which is why she requires Diana's assistance. Christine requests Felix to comprehend her circumstances. During supper, Diana presents a meal from the Philippines. Christine is highly eager to sample it, and it proves to be tasty. Initially, Felix and Roberta decline to consume the meal since it appears odd, but following sampling a portion, they truly enjoy it. They continue praising Diana for making such a delicious dish. When Christine proceeds to dispense herself a beverage, she abruptly senses discomfort in her limb. Observing this, Diana swiftly nears her and gently stimulates Christine's form. Astonishingly, the discomfort vanishes immediately. Christine is perplexed, but expresses gratitude to Diana. What on earth? It's vanished. The following daybreak, Christine escorts Diana along to deliver Roberta to class. She desires to demonstrate Diana the path so Diana can escort Roberta to class afterward. Along the path, Christine forgets the path to the class. Diana instructs her not to become alarmed and requests Roberta to direct them instead. When they reach, they accompany Roberta to the class entrance. Direct us the path, yes. Let's proceed. I can't even summon a taxi. Allow me. Along the return path home, Christine doesn't desire to operate the vehicle since her ailment begins flaring up once more. Diana subsequently proposes to conduct a customary curing ceremony from the Philippines, which she asserts can heal Christine's ailment. Exhausted from consuming numerous drugs and attempting diverse healthcare treatments, Christine ultimately consents to attempt the ceremony. When they reach residence, Diana commences readying the objects required for the rite. She instructs Christine to possess belief in the ceremony so it can function correctly. Then she requests Christine to remain seated tranquilly while she executes the customary curing. Diana commences by igniting fragrance, then deposits an enigmatic rock into a container of liquid and exhales over it while orbiting around Christine's form. Diana clarifies that the liquid will become soiled, since it takes in the ailment and negative force from Christine's form. Indeed, following a period, the liquid turns cloudy. Diana persists with the ceremony until Christine commences to sense improved. She states the ceremony must be executed routinely so that Christine's ailment will not reappear. Intrigued about the ceremony, Christine inquires if it can be executed solely by Diana or also by other individuals from Diana's native place. Diana clarifies that the ceremony can solely be performed by selected persons known as umu, which signifies a type of healer. She subsequently commences narrating to Christine about her history when she was a youngster. Ages ago, when a massive tempest hit her community, an elderly lady who was an umu arrived at Diana's residence seeking protection from the tempest. But since the lady was already extremely aged, she deceased in Diana's residence. At the instant of her demise, Diana was present and observed it. Numerous individuals state that, when an umu perishes, their mystical ability shifts to whoever observes their demise. Because Diana was present when the elderly umu perished, the lady's ethereal abilities were transferred to her. From that moment onward, Diana became an umu, which is why she is capable of executing the curing ceremonies. Following the ceremony's conclusion, Christine expresses gratitude to Diana for causing her to sense greatly improved. Christine subsequently shares with Diana that prior to she became sick, she once met a filthy canine full of fleas. She thinks that one of those fleas attacked her, and that this was when her odd ailment commenced. Her ailment was so peculiar that even healthcare treatments could not heal it. Yet everything altered following Diana's appearance. Christine's state, which had been declining for months, commenced to get better thanks to the curing ceremonies. Christine requests Diana to persist executing them, and Diana consents, but she informs Christine that she cannot assist her eternally. She requests Christine to fully believe whatever curing technique she executes. Each day, Diana carries out diverse types of ceremonies on Christine. Without Christine realizing it, Diana also commences gathering her blood, nails, and hair, though it is uncertain what she intends to perform with them. As Christine and Diana are occupied with these curing ceremonies, Felix and Roberta become perplexed about what the two ladies are performing. Felix also ponders why Christine so readily consents to join in Diana's odd practices. Then, Roberta informs Felix that she observed Diana levitating in the atmosphere the prior evening. Felix believes that Roberta must have been imagining. Afterward, Christine proceeds to the washroom to consume her drug, but abruptly all her tablets are missing. Diana informs her that she was the one who discarded them herself, but since Christine frequently undergoes memory failure, she can't recall performing it. "You don't require them. Believe me, Christine." Following that, Diana escorts Roberta to class. Meanwhile, at residence, while Christine is in her work area, something extremely odd occurs. Abruptly, her whole chamber seems to erupt into blazes. Luckily, Felix appears just promptly to soothe Christine, who is in a condition of alarm. Following Christine's slumber, Felix proceeds to Diana's chamber to converse with her. He senses that ever since Diana entered their residence, she has been causing Christine to trust in odd matters and controlling her into adhering to all of her directives. Felix requests Diana to remain distant from Christine and cease executing her odd ceremonies, but Diana declines. She maintains that she solely desires to assist Christine eliminate her ailment and encourages Felix to proceed to rest, since it is already tardy at evening. As Felix directs back to his chamber, he is abruptly assaulted by Roberta's companion avian. "Why are you kind to me?" "I will not be solitary anymore." Afterward, Diana executes another curing ceremony for Christine. This occasion, thanks to the ceremony, Christine senses vigorous and cheerful. "You're joyful?" "Yes." She becomes extremely concentrated on her labor, and her superior commends her fresh kids' apparel creations. Liz, Christine's superior, even devises the concept to advertise Christine's most recent creations through television and online promotions. This causes Christine to be immensely pleased. Meanwhile, at residence, Felix covertly enters Diana's chamber to inspect her possessions. He doubts that Diana might be providing Christine some sort of material that causes her reliant on her. While hunting, Felix discovers Christine's absent drugs concealed beneath Diana's mattress. He also uncovers what appears like a tiny shrine. Felix promptly informs Christine about what he discovered. Learning this, Christine is astonished to discover that Diana has been deceiving her. Consequently, Felix and Christine resolve to expel Diana from their residence. Prior to departing, Diana bids farewell to Roberta. Discovering that Diana will no longer remain with them causes Roberta extremely sorrowful. Just when they had become companions, her parents are compelling Diana to depart. Diana subsequently inquires Roberta if she desires her to return to the residence. If she does, Roberta must aid her. Diana instructs Roberta to blame Felix of seizing Christine's drugs and positioning them in Diana's chamber so that Christine will believe her once more. That evening, while Christine is resting, she experiences a frightening vision of an enormous flea creeping all over her form, leaving her in profound terror. Following morning, adhering to Diana's directives, Roberta blames Felix of being the one who seized Christine's drugs and concealed them in Diana's chamber. Since Roberta is still a youngster, Christine trusts her and commences reprimanding Felix. Felix is perplexed and doesn't comprehend why Roberta would blame him of such a matter. But Christine, trusting her child's statements more, blames Felix of performing it deliberately since he never appreciated Diana from the beginning. This results in an intense dispute between Felix and Christine. Not desiring the conflict to persist, Felix resolves to depart and rest in the elevated chamber. As he's proceeding upward, he is abruptly assaulted by an avian, forfeits his equilibrium, and tumbles from an elevation. Felix is promptly transported to the medical center to obtain healthcare care. The following day, Christine once more senses unwell, but she compels herself to proceed to labor since it's an extremely crucial day for her. While supervising the recording of an advertisement for her most recent apparel collection, Christine abruptly undergoes frightening visions. She observes everyone's countenances covered with canine fleas. Visions increase more severe and terrifying until she yells in alarm. Everyone surrounding her is perplexed and astonished by her abrupt eruption. Liz subsequently instructs Christine to proceed residence and relax. When she arrives, residence Christine proceeds directly to her chamber. Shortly after, Roberta enters to inquire how she's sensing, but Christine instructs her to depart. Roberta senses injured and sorrowful, and as she proceeds back to her chamber, there's an abrupt rap at the entrance. When she examines, it proves to be Diana, who has come back to cure Christine. Christine is profoundly touched that Diana returned, even though she and Felix had behaved poorly toward her previously. Diana escorts Christine to her work area and commences executing the ultimate curing ceremony. But instead of sensing improved, Christine's state deteriorates. Instead of healing her, Diana compels Christine to continue stitching garments repeatedly until she becomes totally fatigued. Then the reality about what truly occurred to Christine is disclosed. It proves that Christine's ailment was triggered by a hex. Diana had enchanted her. Diana dispatched the hex in the shape of a canine flea, which is why Christine endured odd signs for months. The physicians couldn't identify her ailment, and only Diana could heal her by lifting the hex she had imposed herself. The cause Diana imposed the hex on Christine was because many months prior, Diana's own youngster had perished as a consequence of Christine's deeds. Diana once possessed a tiny household made up of herself, her spouse Sam, and their child Kirana. They resided in a tiny countryside community in the Philippines. Due to strife in their community, the household was compelled to relocate to the urban area. To endure, Diana commenced laboring as a stitching worker at a clothing manufacturing plant. Each day she escorted her child with her to labor. One day, Christine arrived to inspect the manufacturing plant where Diana labored. The manufacturing plant manufactured garments based on Christine's creations. Christine had collaborated with the manufacturing plant supervisor to bulk produce her creations. Since Christine's apparel collection was in great request, she requested the supervisor to compel the workers to stitch 30 items per day. That was much too numerous, as the workers could only handle about 25 items a day. Beyond that, Christine also instructed the supervisor to secure the manufacturing plant entrances so that no workers could freely enter or exit. She was concerned that someone might pilfer the garments intended for sale, which would interfere with manufacturing. Hearing this command, the supervisor hesitantly consented to adhere to Christine's request. That afternoon, while Diana is laboring at the manufacturing plant, Kirana commences sensing extremely warm and parched. Diana requests the manufacturing plant supervisor for approval to venture outside and purchase a chilled beverage for her child. The supervisor hesitantly unsecures the manufacturing plant entrance to allow her out. Following Diana's departure, he secures the entrance once more to stop the workers from entering and exiting as they wish. A brief period afterward, an electrical malfunction triggers sparks that start a blaze. Since the manufacturing plant is filled with combustible substances, the flames rapidly expand, consuming the whole structure. The blaze leads to numerous fatalities, including Diana's child Kirana, as the workers are confined inside. The sole exit has been secured by the supervisor. Even the supervisor himself perishes in the inferno. From that instant onward, Diana accuses Christine for Kirana's demise, since it was Christine's concept to secure the manufacturing plant entrances initially. If Christine hadn't commanded the supervisor to close the exits, the workers and Diana's child could have fled the blaze. Consumed by sorrow and animosity, Diana becomes obsessed with retribution toward Christine. She resolves to employ her healer abilities to exact revenge, dispatching a sinister hex to Christine so that she would endure eternally. When Christine commences to become sick, Diana inspects her residence, feigning to be a rescuer while covertly executing her scheme for retribution. In reality, she never arrived to cure Christine. She arrived to ruin her existence as payback for what occurred to Karana. Christine, filled with regret, pleads Diana for pardon for her previous errors. But it's overdue. What's performed is performed, and nothing can restore Diana's child. Diana announces that the sole method for Christine to compensate for her wrongdoings is through agony. She subsequently eliminates Christine by incinerating her living, compelling her to undergo the identical torment Karana experienced in the manufacturing plant blaze. Following Christine's demise, Diana encounters Roberta and escorts her to the rear yard. There, she instructs Roberta to continue gazing upward at the heavens. Gradually, Diana commences to ascend into the atmosphere, levitating up to the rooftop. It becomes evident that Diana plans to terminate her own existence by leaping from the elevation. When she descends, she is mortally wounded. In her ultimate instance, Diana's healer ability appears as a tiny chick, which departs her form and penetrates Roberta's. The ability shifts into the youngster, transforming Roberta into a fresh umu, just like Diana once was. Meanwhile, Felix comes back residence. As he hunts for Christine, he is terrified to uncover her deceased, incinerated form. In the ultimate sequence, Roberta is depicted having accepted her fresh role as an umu. She contentedly wanders through the untamed, gathering healing plants. From afar, the essence of Diana observes over her. Roberta observes her and grins. Then the story comes to an end.